Alrighty, we're gonna try something new today. I've got some footage of the process of me drawing this drawing of the girl from Needy Streamer Overload. So we're gonna watch it together. It starts about halfway through. I didn't do the line art. I'll probably show the sketch. I'll probably show the sketch, but this is about halfway in. So right now, I finished ame-chan first, but I didn't like her shoes, so it took a good while redoing her shoes. This is about what most of the process ends up looking like for me. I'm not a big fan of, I've tried so many times to do line art where it's just one line, just drawing one line with the stability of and making it look good. But I just feel more comfortable sketching it, especially with, I use Krita to draw, and I've used a lot of programs in my time. I started with Metabang back in the day. See, now we're starting ame-chan, or no. What are we doing now? We're starting Kangel. Okay. Yeah, see, that's the sketch. So we're going to get the full line art. Oh, we're going to get a full sketch and everything of her in. Because I didn't like the original sketch, so I redrew her. This drawing, I redrew stuff a lot in this. I've been drawing a lot more in a chibi style, and this was one of the few times recently that I've drawn in my more regular style. I don't want to say realistic because it's not realistic. It's very much not. But like compared to my other style, it is more realistic, we can say. But it took me a good long while to redraw everything and get somewhat happy with it. And at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm completely happy with it. But I drew this a long time ago. This is probably a good month or so after the fact. You know what? Real quick, nothing's really happening. Let's check when I posted this last, because it's been a good minute since I actually drew this. I've just been sitting on this because I have time to sit down, but there's like 30 other things that I need to do when I'm sitting down, you know? So I posted this on September 7th. It is October 2nd as of right now. So about a month ago I drew this, but I still remember it. I remember being there. I haven't been drawing a whole lot. It's been a busy past few weeks for me, so I haven't been going super crazy. These ribbon pigtails, oh man, these are another thing that before I started recording, I did draw them once, and I think that is what they end up, that is the sketch for them, because that's how they look at the end. But these took me a good long while too, because like in theory it's not that bad. It's just two ribbons coming from her hair, but I was really just never happy with how they looked, and I wanted them to look like they're flowing like a ribbon naturally, but also they've got these specific curves and these points to make them look like, you know, she's got these thick pigtails of hair and not two strings coming from her head. So that was definitely a little bit of a struggle. But this, we get the full line art on her, which is great, so you can see the whole start to finish from her. I usually do one very basic sketch. You can see kind of on my layers on the side. I do one very basic sketch, then I go over with a better sketch. Then sometimes I go over with a better sketch, and then I do the line art like this. I usually do at least 2 or 3 iterations before I'm done, because I like to start very basic and then add more details on as I go, you know. I'll draw the whole thing, but then I won't focus on, like, the sleeves or the skirt or something like that. That's just what I can see right there, you know. So I'll go back on the next layer and I'll take a different color. I usually start with pink, then I do purple, then I do blue. and then I go to black for line art, or I like to do this. I did use black for this, but generally when I'm picking the color palette, I like to do more of like a reddish brown, because I like to stay very pastel. And K Angel is very pastel with her color palette, as we will see later on, but ame-chan is all black, and you know, since they're standing next to each other, I need it to be at least somewhat cohesive, so I went with the same color. But, I do, you know, when we get to the end, I'll color the line art, and we will get to get more of the pastel on K Angel's side. But, you know, I start in black and then work my way up. Because even sometimes I'm really tempted when I lay the flat colors down, you know, I'm tempted to just color the line art right then and there because it's so fun and it looks so good. But realistically, I try and do it to the last step, not only just to like save it, but you know, if I'm gonna be shading stuff, it's gonna be a darker color. But I really like this little top piece that she's got going on with all these angles. I like to draw a lot of curved lines, as you can tell. I'm not very comfortable with sharp angles like that, so that bow and that top right up there took me a good long while to get comfortable with. And then these shoes too. Some people really struggle with feet, and to an extent I definitely do, but I do really like drawing shoes and stuff. Like, once you get like the basics down of like that's where the ankle goes, that's where the heel goes, and the big toe, you can kind of just, you know, you're just drawing. Shoes are the shape of your foot to an extent. Like, they shape your foot a different way, but like it's basically the shape of your foot, so you're just drawing extras onto the shoe. And like you can see if it pans back, yeah, right down here you can see the heel goes inward a little bit. If I was to go back now, and maybe I will fix that later, but if I was to go back, I would probably change that. These two were another one that I did not know what to do with those stripes there, because I left them blank so I could color them in, and then I did them flat because I figured I could just color the line art whatever color they are. And I think I do end up switching back to the full black and then I color it, but... And then, oh, also, God, I forgot about that, the fucking nightmare that this... Uh-oh. My footage froze. Am I just taking a little break? Did I just leave it recording for a while? Alright, I just skipped to 7:43. Probably gonna be a few seconds off now, but that's okay. Getting the flat colors down now. Always fun. I am one of the crazies that likes to color it all in by hand, because I used to use the fill tool for a while, but on Creative the fill tool is pretty bad. Procreate definitely has a leg up on that one, because I don't really fully understand Creedy yet. And it is a free program versus a paid program. It's a free open source program versus a paid program owned by Apple. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a difference. But this program is also significantly older, but not in a bad way. Older as in, like, it's got more experience under its belt, and it's closer to being a more professional. It doesn't have all the tools, it's missing some of them, and some of them I just don't know where they are, but I'm on the computer now. I still use my iPad every once in a while. If I'm like not at home, I'll bring it with me, but I 100% like drawing with this more. One of the main reasons is my iPad is, I don't even know what generation it is, but it's too old. It came out right before, like, my iPad is the generation before the Apple Pencil and all that came out. Oh yeah, listening to Gajira. Started writing notes. I never listen to music when I draw. I usually just watch YouTube, but I was listening to music this day and I was feeling it. But yeah, I was gonna talk about this earlier, the fucking nightmare that this line art was, because I kept accidentally switching the size of my brush when I go to do the other girl. So like, I did ame-chan at size 4.23, which is the default for the pencil that I'm using, and then you can see I switched to 2.56 for kangel, and then I realized, and I was like, but I like it more, so I'm just gonna redraw this one instead of redrawing kangel. And I probably did that like 3 times, because it kept happening with different things, and like it'd be like, you can just see right there too, my opacity is 15%, but I turn it up to 100 and then back down to 15. Oh no, I'm stupid. That's me switching over to my eraser is 100% opacity. But that was another issue where the opacity was different on the two of them, and I realized because I wanted the full opacity, but that's another thing that I was getting at. I'm starting to jump back and forth between things. I'm starting to lose my train of thought, but I didn't have touch sensitivity because my iPad was the generation before the Apple Pencil came out, and all of that, and Procreate and all that came out, so I didn't have touch sensitivity. I had to do all that by hand if I wanted it to look different. So I see now I'm up to 100% opacity, and you can really tell. And this is when I was still experimenting. This is probably one of my first few drawings that I did with this, so I learned that I do like the lower opacity. Maybe I'd use like 50% for line art, not 100 and not 15, but not 100 for sure, because it's just too dark. You lose that hand-drawn look, you know? I mean, of course it's hand-drawn, but like pencil and paper traditional. Yeah, you can see me checking the line weight and the line darkness and stuff a lot, because I just could not stop having issues with that, man. It was a nightmare. And then I'm gonna have to go and recolor her again, and oh man, I'm getting flashbacks just watching this. I don't have to do any of that. None of that. See, now I gotta fix all the colors. But I did have a lot of fun drawing this piece, just because, you know, it's not necessarily super big. You know, it's just 2 girls standing there, 2 full body, but I usually draw full body anyways. But just the process of it took me to like figure out, this was a really big one for me, getting comfortable with Krita. I feel like there's a before and after the K-Angels drawing period with my Krita career. This one, it taught me a lot, for sure, but I'm still learning, of course. There's still a lot of things that I don't know. But we're getting into the shading and rendering now, as the TikTokers call it. It's not a TikTok term. I don't know. I don't like calling it rendering for my art, because that makes it sound like, sorry, oh, I just hit my mic. That probably sounded atrocious. But I don't like calling it rendering just because, I don't know, seems a little too official for what I'm doing. I'm taking purple, and you can see I just lasso the purple all around, and then I'm gonna put it on a multiply layer, and then alpha lock it and soften up the colors where they need to be. But this is a majority of my shading as I go around with this purple like this. I do also like to do like, I'll do shading within the color. Like I'll take a darker, more saturated red, for example, to shade that top later, but then I do this on top. This is like the lighting versus the shading, you know? This is the shade from the lighting versus the casual the casual shading. So I haven't done this in a while, but I used to do more. I'd go over with a overlay layer, and I'd put like yellows and blues and purples where they needed to go, but I've been getting kind of lazy, honestly. It's been one of those periods where like I'm drawn to draw because I need to, and I need content and all that. Not that like I really super care. I'm not opposed to taking breaks. I take like week-long stretches where I don't post all the time, because I just kind of forget that I have to. Or I don't forget, I know I have to, I'm just too lazy to. But you know, at some point I gotta get back on it. I don't want to forget how to draw. But I love how ame-chan and K-Angel have the blush under their eyes, because I love under eye blush. So I have a lot of fun. See, this is where I actually did highlights instead of shading, but one or the other, you know, you have to add more depth than just the same purple and pink across it. This was fun. The skirt was fun. This was definitely a labor-intensive one of work. This part wasn't too bad. This part was pretty fun, but when we get to K-Angel with that stupid top, I was on the phone with Luke having like a breakdown trying to get that done. That was not a fun process at all. But yeah, this is, you can kind of see with my hair process, I kind of just said it earlier, but I do multiply with the purple, then I do highlights with the pink, and then either I'll take an airbrush and do it like that for a little bit more of a lighter color on the highlights, or I used to do more, I'd multiply the addition layer, the shiny bits, and then I'd turn up the blur to just do it by hand, or not by hand, but this one I just turned down the opacity and left it like that. But yeah, it's important, you know, even with just a few colors, you gotta still add depth with what we've got. And we're done with her just like that. But you seen at the end, you know, you gotta go back and I'll add, it's not just one color of purple either. I'll add a darker purple for where it's darker and a lighter purple where it's lighter. Crazy thoughts, you know, never been done before, but I do enjoy this part of the drawing process. I'm not the biggest fan of coloring and shading and stuff. It's more of a chore for me at the end of the day than the actual sketching and line art part. I definitely like that more. But I don't dislike it. The way that I do it the way I do it for a reason, you know. I like doing it like that. Yep, see, this is what I was talking about. I go through and redo these again. But I think it's coming along pretty well. Oh, this is where the nightmare comes in. The first iteration is going to be really bad. I need to make it clear that it's not going to stay like this. I redo this so many times. And it's because it was a good study for me too, because, you know, I don't really do stuff like this a lot, so it was, I hate how these shoes turned out. I never fixed the shoes. I just left them like this because I was fucking sick of them. But they look like that at the end. The shoes do not change. But the top does. I do better on the top. But this was... Oh. Okay, well, I guess I didn't record me redoing it the second time. That's where the footage ends for me. But I'll put up what it looks like at the end. Let me open it on my side real quick just so I can know what I'm talking about. But you can see I did redo it a little bit. I've got one clear light source, and you can see the shading coming a little bit more clear. You can also see that I gave up on the shoes. I left them like that. But we didn't get the highlights or the purple. I thought I recorded this whole thing. That's why But I missed a lot. That's okay. You can see the full piece now. Background and everything. I had a lot of fun with this. And, you know, it's not my best. Looking at it right now, there's things that I don't like ame-chan's facial proportions look a little bit weird. But at the end of the day, I'm not dissatisfied with it. It's a good piece. I'm proud of it. But that's all I got. It's over, so that's all I got to say. See ya, bye.